Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Austin Clayton, who will fight on Combat Fighting Championship for July 5th. Hello, Austin. How are you?
Doing good, my man. Ready to go. Just in fight week and trying to get the weight right, and then it's fight time right around the corner. So
And how do you feel overall about weight cutting? Is it like a big problem for you, or is not like not really much of the problem?
I do cut a lot of weight, but I have a system for it, and you know I've always wrestled above. Like when I used to wrestle competitively, I used to always wrestle above my weight class. So I never really cut much weight. So now I feel like it's a big advantage to me because my body hasn't been through all the struggles of the weight cuts being younger. And I'm much bigger in the cage than most of my opponents. And if it was up to me, I would say no weight cuts at all. I wish we would all fight at natural weight, but it's a part of the sport. And if you want to, be at the top, you have to be willing to sacrifice. So
But it's very good because it's sometimes it's like the biggest problem of the fighter just to make weight, and if it's not an issue for you, you are right now winning the fight even.
yes, yes, no, definitely cut a lot of weight, but I got a good system, a great team around me who, makes this process really simple. And uh, yeah, it just gets me ready for the fight.
Your last fight was many months ago. It was, I believe, September. And if you can
Yes.
tell me what was the reason because behind this kind of break, because for the fighter it's quite a long one.
Yeah, it definitely was not my choice. I've been calling people out left and right, all types of different people. And, everybody says that they're down to fight, they're ready to go. But when it comes time to contracts, everything goes quiet. Definitely didn't want to be on the shelf for the last 8 to 9 months. But, it just was 8 to 9 months that I got to get better in. And that's the way that I frame it. The longer they wait, the worse it's going to be for them because we're going to meet one day. You know what I mean? Sooner or later, if you're really up to that caliber, I'm going to see these guys one day. And, the longer they wait, the better I'm going to get. So it's really, it is what it is. I got better and I'm ready to go. And the good thing is, this upcoming Saturday, we get to, put on another great performance.
And actually, I think that your opponent is quite a good one. He's also undefeated, 3-0. And if you can tell me, do you think that he will be a biggest challenge of your career for now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's we don't know yet. We will see. We'll see when we get in the cage. I look at his skill set and I definitely see a lot of holes. I see a lot of opportunity, but I do see a lot of strength. In his skill set, he's a very powerful, strong athlete. He has a lot of confidence in his hands. So it makes it exciting because, to get someone to I would imagine he's probably gonna come forward and he's gonna look to go. So that'll just, enhance my skill set because, I can fight anywhere. And I've always had to chase everybody down, sort of like Ilya said. The only thing that stops him is he has to close the distance, right? Where Charles is going to come forward. This guy's going to come forward. He's going to want to throw heat, and I think it's going to leave a lot of opportunities for me. So
And how important for you is a title? Because in the end, it's like your fifth professional fight, the title fight actually. Is it an important factor for you?
if it ain't UFC gold, it doesn't really hold much weight to me. But I will say, it's definitely exciting to know that I have 5 rounds scheduled, even though I don't think I'll go 5 rounds. I think the experience and this opportunity will be a really good one. And it is pretty cool. Only being 4 fights into my pro career, fighting for a title against a worthy opponent, it definitely raises the stakes and makes it exciting. But this is just a stepping stone onto greater things. My eyes and attention and energy is all focused on the UFC, and hopefully after I smash this guy, I can get that call.
So do you think that with a win, there is some chance that you will get like a contender serious shot?
Yeah, Sean Shelby's been in contact with my manager, and he's told him 1 to 2 more. Right. So if I have a really good performance, and I go do what I believe I could do, this might be the one that gets me the call up. And then if not, I have a hit list. I'm ready to go on the regional scene. And a lot of these people are saying I haven't fought good competition. So if I go smash this guy, like I really do believe I will, what are they going to say now? You know what I mean? Are they going to keep on running because they're hoping that they get the call up. But you know, I don't think that the UFC is looking for prospects that have three losses at the age of 27. You know what I mean? Like, why would you sign a guy with three losses whenever you can get an undefeated prospect who has a ton of potential? It's just one of the things. Like, either way, it's a win-win from here on out. Because I get a great win under my belt. I either go on contenders or there's another title fight that I'm looking to set up after this if I do what I say I'm going to do.
So is it a CFFC title fight?
Yes, yes. This kid's been running for a long time. Uh, you know, it's crazy because I respect all our veterans and the military, and just because of their brave heart and the sacrifice that they put on for our country. But this kid, he's a former veteran, but he's not acting like he has a brave heart like one. You know what I mean? He seems a little bit scared, a little bit cautious. I've been calling him out. I've been doing everything I can to try and get this fight. I started off respectful. I played a little game, started a little bit of banter. I've tried everything, but he's doing everything in his power to avoid that fight. And I'm focused 100% on July 5th because without a win on this upcoming Saturday, none of this stuff is going to happen. But I do believe that I'm going to go in and smash this guy in under 2 rounds, and then I'm gonna, like I said, it's either UFC or it's a CFFC title, and I believe I smash that guy even faster. I think my opponent this weekend is way better than the one I'm looking for CFFC. So.
So overall, it's great that you have this kind of plan to like for next steps. You know when you want to be in the UFC, what kind of fights you want. It's probably good. It's not that you are just waiting what's gonna happen, but you know what you want.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I train with the best. I sacrifice everything in my life to make this happen. I'd be crazy to not have a plan or, a vision in place to, make it all come true. And, it's only a matter of time. Like I said, I was on the shelf for 8 to 9 months. It sucked. But, what they don't understand is I'm only getting better. I'm still so new in the sport, only 3 years in. And, I'm climbing the ranks really fast. 4-0 as an amateur, 4-0 as a professional, about to be 5-0, five finishes as a professional. It's only a matter of time, though. They can delay me, but they can't stop me. You know what I mean?
And I believe, like recently, you changed the gym, right? You left Killcliff, and
Yes.
if you can tell me what was the reason and to what gym did you move?
First and foremost, I just want to thank Kill Cliff, man. They have done so much for me in my career, mentally, physically, everything in between. They taught me how to become a real champion, and they laid a blueprint down. The reason why I moved was not because of looking for a better gym or anything like that. I have a daughter on the way, which is a massive motivation going into this fight and all my fights coming forward. And so I wanted to move closer to family. So when our daughter comes in September, we'll have a lot more support. But I'm super grateful for my time at Kill Cliff. I'm all cool with all the coaches, all my teammates, everything like that. But I did move to Extreme Couture in Las Vegas, so I'm spending time at Extreme Couture in the PI, and it's been incredible. Honestly, probably my favorite place to date. Uh, just talking about Las Vegas in general, it has everything I want and I need. It has the mountains. We're only an hour away from Mount Charleston. Uh, you know, Great living opportunities, and obviously this is the fight mecca of the world, Las Vegas. So it's really good knowing that considering they have 50% of the events in Las Vegas, if I'm going to get a short notice call up, it's going to be because I'm living here now because they're going to call the guys that are local. So I'm staying ready 24/7, working with guys like Strickland, Chris Curtis, everybody under the sun. There's always people coming in and out of Vegas, and it's been a blessing, man. I was really nervous for the move because I've moved so many times. I've always, had to, change my scenery. I'm always chasing the best, and I was nervous for this because I really did love my time out in Florida. But it's definitely been one of the best decisions that I've ever made. It's already paying out tenfold, and I can't wait to show on July 5th in my performance.
But it's kind of unusual thing to change one super gym to another because it's like going from small to big one, or sometimes from big one because you are moving to a smaller one, and you picked like two best gyms in the world.
Yes, yeah, it's a blessing, man. I mean, I think every place I've been to train has like had a certain something special about them that they do really well. And so what I'm doing, I mean, since the beginning of my career, I've always traveled. Even if I wasn't going to necessarily change gyms, I was always looking to seek out the best because everybody brings something to the table. So I took all the good from Kill Cliff. I took all the good from Fight Ready. I took all the good from when I was in Brazil. I took all the good from when I was training with the Fighting Nerds out in Kansas City. And now I'm taking all the good here out in Las Vegas with Extreme Couture. My manager and coach, Roman Isbell. You have Eric Nixick, you have Dennis Davis, some of the best in the game. You know what I mean? So just taking a little bit from everywhere I go and implementing it into my game on my way to becoming a world champion.
And initially, what was the like reason, the main thing, the reason that you decided to become a MMA fighter?
It's just been a passion of mine since I was a little kid. I grew up wrestling, and my dad was a big fan of the sport since I was a little kid. So I used to always go downstairs, and he would be watching the fights from the very beginning. You know what I mean? Like, you got guys like Tito Ortiz and Iceman on the TV, and he would always ask me, "Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this?" And I said, of course I do." Who wouldn't? You know what I mean? You're 10 years old, 7 years old, and you're seeing this. It's awesome. You get paid for beating somebody up. That's pretty cool. And I think also, my dad grew up and he was, really tough kid, always fighting all the time. And I grew up with a different lifestyle, but that grittiness and that toughness that he had being raised as a kid, it definitely fell over to me. And I just it's beautiful because my parents have done really well for themselves, right? So I feel like my whole life, anytime I do something successful, it's because mommy and daddy, they gave you this, they gave you this. But the beautiful thing about MMA is, mommy and daddy can't come to save you. At the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world, you can have all the fame in the world, but it's you and another man locked in a cage for 15, maybe 25 minutes, and you get to settle it there. So that's what I love because it's something that nobody could take anything away from me. You know what I mean? When I go out there and do what I do, it shows it's my hard work, it's my faith in God, and it's just the preparation that I put into each and every camp and training session.
Yes, and it's like a little bit like both things. From one side, it's like team sport because of course you have trainers, coaches, sparring partners, and people around you. But in the end, you are alone in the cage. You of course you
Yes.
can like listen advices, but in the end, it's like the you are in the cage and you will get some consequences if you will do something wrong.
And that's what I like. I like all the responsibility and liability on me, right? If I were to make a mistake and it were to cost me the fight, I'm okay with that because you know what? I know I go out there and work my absolute hardest every single day. I do everything I can do, and I can only control what I can control. But one thing I used to hate about team sports, I used to play football, American football growing up, and in other team sports, and I hated it because I could do everything right, and my teammate maybe he didn't train throughout the week as hard as I did, or maybe he just didn't care, or he didn't get the right sleep. It would drive me crazy, you know what I mean? Whenever we were losing games because of other people. Where in this sport, like you said, it is a team, it is a family, and it takes a lot of people to help me get into that cage and help me prepare. But at the end of the day, it's that fight day. You show up and you get in the cage. It's just you and the other man, and you get to figure it out. So that's the beauty of this sport, and I think we all have a little bit of the fight in us. You know what I mean? I think it's natural for us, everybody, whether you want to fight or not. I think we all have it in us, and I think that's why it's becoming such a global sport all around the world. Like, this is like behind soccer. You know what I mean? Outside of soccer, I don't know of another sport that is capturing the attention of the world. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes, that's right. Because it's like either like South America, Asia, everybody loves it.
Honestly, if anything, I think the rest of the world is grabbing onto it more than even America. Like, I think because America has so many different sports and so many different athletes, like, man, you see, I got the opportunity to train with Shavkat, and if you just see, like, man, the fan mail he gets, the people who show up to the gym to see him, and they're from across the world. You know what I mean? They're showing up to South Florida just to come see this guy train. Same with, you see the guys from Dagestan. You even see Ilya Taporia just blowing up. You know what I mean? Like, these people from around the world. It's taking over the world. This is a great sport, and it's the best. Let's just simply put, it's the best.
And about Ilya, how good is he? Because he, in such a short time, he did so many amazing things that, like his last three wins, it's like unbelievable. It might be the best wins in the history of the sport, like the three list of three. So what do you think about him, about his style, and who should be next for him?
I like everything about Ilya Topuria. He is very confident, and people take it as arrogance, but man, it's confidence, and I can relate to that because, you know, you could tell he just puts his heart and soul into his training and his work, and that's why would he think anything different other than the fact that he's going to go in and destroy this person? You know what I mean? But he's a man of faith, and he always puts God first. He's a hard worker, and he does what he says he's going to do, which is it's incredible because on any given night, I mean, they could fight 100 times and it could go 50-50. You know what I mean? Fighting is a crazy sport, and I've had moments of adversity against people that I'm way better than. You know what I mean? So anything can happen, and the fact that he goes out there, says what he's going to do, and actually does it is incredible. His boxing is incredible. His jiu-jitsu and wrestling is incredible. Uh, he's a great athlete all around. One of my favorite to watch, one of my favorite to study. And who does he fight next? I mean, obviously, everybody wants to see him versus Islam. I think that would be, an incredible matchup. And if he were to beat Islam, I mean, could we really argue? I think he would have to be the best ever at that point. Just a 4 fight streak that he's gone on is insane. But outside of that, I think Arman Sarukian is a great matchup and a great fight. I understand why people want to see Patty and him fight business wise, but I still think Patty maybe needs one or two more. He's still climbing, just even for Patty. You know what I mean? He's just going to become a bigger star. You know what I mean? And he looked incredible in his fight versus Michael Chandler. So if it was up to me, I would make it. The time is now. You got Islam, who's on a ridiculous streak. You got Ilya on a ridiculous streak. The time is now before we missed the opportunity. Because if one of them were to lose, it's just not the same. But I think Arman Sarukian is also a really good name to put in that mix.
Yes, but even in the case of Ilya, he's like his confidence, like his evidence that you can do some amazing things. It's a little bit like Conor 10 years ago, but
Yes,
in the end,
yes.
probably Ilya is just a better fighter because he's a better on the ground. He's BJJ black belt, and in the end, he will be a problem also on the ground. But this kind of confidence when he put like 15 and 0 world champion before he
Yep.
beat Alex Volkanovski was a kind of crazy one, and he definitely delivered.
It's like he always says he's the next generation, right? And that's just what it is. We're always going to continue to evolve. Back in Connor's day, we had a lot of specialists. This guy's a wrestler, this guy's jiu-jitsu, this guy's a striker. Now Ilya is literally everything in one. And then I can't even imagine what's going to come another 10 years from now. You know what I mean? You see guys like Joshua Van who are 23 years old and they're climbing the ranks already. Pantoja just said he's like, at 23 years old, I was cleaning dishes. This guy's about to fight for a world title in the UFC. This next generation is going to be insane. I think, our time is now, and this next one's going to be even crazier. But yeah, I love it, man. I'm a super fan of the sport, and I think he is great for the sport. I think he brings a lot of eyes to the sport. He, I've never seen anybody pass Charles Gard like that. I was so impressed. Like I knew the striking, how great of a boxer he is, and I've watched all his fights from before the UFC back in Brave and stuff like that. And he showed all the skills in the past as well. But Charles is a different beast. And, the fact that he put him down, wanted to, follow him to the ground. Everybody else is like, oh, I don't want that with Charles. And the way he passed the guard to get the side control and put him in a crucifix was absolutely insane. I think it just shows like, I don't know when they started showing the camera of all the possible opponents for him. They had Armin, they had Patty, in my head, I'm like, man, none of these guys really want Ilya right now. Like they know they have to. It's gonna be good money fight. But if you fight that Ilya that fought, a couple of nights ago, nobody really wants to fight him. He's the best. He's the best right now in the game. So it's awesome. It's awesome to see for the sport.
Yes, but definitely it's like only good options for him because either it will
Yes.
be like Islam or any other contender. Definitely it will be a great fight. And
Yes.
getting back to your career, um, when you are outside of the training camp, so you have a little bit more free time. Do you have any like things that you like to do outside of MMA that helps you like get rid of your stress?
Honestly, it's 24/7, 365. I mean, I'm training year round. And that's why I can, take opportunities like I did my last fight on 10 days notice, because this is really my life. It's this faith, family. That's really, this is what I do. My favorite hobby is to, train, and it's also my career. So it's, I mean, obviously, I'll play some video games here and there. I like to play other sports and stuff like that, hang out with friends. But I've sacrificed so much to be where I'm at. I've moved across the country multiple times. Just even from back in high school, I went all the way across the country to Arizona to wrestle at one of the top 5 programs in the country. And I go from Arizona to Florida, Florida to Las Vegas. I'll do whatever it takes to, become the best in this sport. And, by the end of my career, I'm going to know what Austin Clayton was really about. I believe that could be top 15, top 10, top five. I really do from the bottom of my heart believe I could become a world champion. Uh, and yeah, it's just, that's all I do. Family, faith, and fighting. That's my life.
And probably you soon will be much more busier because you will be father. So probably
Yes.
the amount of free time will be like quite limited.
Yes. Yes. Very. It's, I'm super excited. I'm already so driven and so motivated, but, knowing I'm going to be welcoming my daughter into this world is just, it's an incredible feeling. It's stressful, it's exciting, everything in between. But man, more than anything, it's a blessing. It's just a blessing, and you start to realize like every fight camp, if you're cutting weight and you're training hard, you realize like what matters in life. And man, it's the little things in life. You know what I mean? Spending time with family, training hard. Uh, you know, those are the things that just a good meal with the family. The little things. You know what I mean? That go so far. And I'm blessed. To have this beautiful baby girl come into my life, and I can't wait to meet her. And I am
Okay.
going to be busy.
Yes, yes, definitely. Okay, Austin, so many thanks for the time and for conversation. I think that your next fight will be a quite good one, but of course, like with your style, fans, I think that can expect the like finish or at least going for the finish because you are quite known for that. And I hope that with a win you will get another big opportunity. Who knows? Maybe CFFC title fight, maybe something even bigger, but I hope that your career will go in the like good direction.
Thank you so much. What's your prediction? I need a prediction.
Uh, Second round TKO.
I like it. I like it. That's right where I'm at. Second round. I'm thinking maybe rear naked, but this kid's pretty tough. I've seen him, in a couple chokes, and he's yet to quit, yet to tap out. He's not looking for a way out, so it may be the TKO because I may need the ref to just pull me off because I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep on going, machine gun mindset, keep the pressure going, and even though I want to rear naked, you might be right. It might be a TKO.
But of course, he's like he lost only one fight like on the amateur scene. So in
Yes,
the end,
and that was the number one amateur in the country at our weight. I wanted to fight that kid as well. Very good grappler, very good wrestler. Um, but I mean, styles make matchups, and my style is definitely meant to succeed in this matchup. It's a fight; anything can happen, but you know what I mean. I mean, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna end in his favor. So I'm excited.
okay. So thank you once again.
Thank you, bro.